when the right people come together at the right moment, when they care almost as much about winning as they do about each other, they can become the best of the best.
Welcome to the best soccer show, the best soccer show in the whole world.
Here we go. It's the best soccer show. Jason Davis, Jared Dubois on the right side, my left side.
You're not even trying to hide the bottom of the screen?
No, I'm not. This is going to go out as a podcast.
Okay.
And everybody who listens is not going to know what just happened, but we'll explain it. We are live. It is Thursday. We're on YouTube. You can watch us make this show every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Tonight is our MLS prediction extravaganza. We're throwing it together. We showed it. We'll also note that the U.S. women are playing a game in the She Believes Cup right now. Things are going well, I think. We should also note that there's a hockey game going on. I don't know if people care about that, but that's a thing that's happening. People are talking about it. And because it's the MLS preview prediction extravaganza, we asked Nicholas Soup and Sausage to join us on the show.
The Sausage King of Chicago.
It is a tradition.
However,
I think I'm starting to like Cincinnati.
not actually here. So if you're watching,
He's dropping some chili.
you can see that we have an empty chair. This isn't one of those things where you leave an empty chair for someone who's passed away from the orchestra. Or isn't that a thing that they do?
I don't know.
They do that, right?
Heavy.
He just had to run. He
hasn't passed. He's passing something.
He's taking care of some business.
He better wash his hands.
Our friend Nicholas Soup and Sausage. So he will be back. Look, there he is. Everybody, round of applause. Congratulations. How'd things come out? Things he can't hear me yet. Things come out well for you, Nick? Yeah.
Hey, in true best soccer show fashion, I had to be late. I didn't know you were going to put me on the screen.
I can't tell you how many times when you guys couldn't see the screen, Nick has the meat sweats down in the corner, just going back and forth.
Many times it was guys,
every show.
Maybe people are calling in right now, but I gotta go. And then we dealt with it. It's okay. So, so Nick is here, and again, as Jared said, it is a tradition that Nick joins us for an MLS prediction show. Sometimes bets are made, sometimes they're not.
Oh, they're made.
They're made. They're just not followed through on.
A beard still looks like it hasn't been shaved.
Okay, I'm going to reiterate. My wife has told me recently, because it has come up, she will divorce me if I don't have a beard. I'm sorry, guys. It's just the way things are happening around here. So what am I supposed to do? She's fiery and Latina. I can't help it. I can't do anything about it. So maybe a different bet this year. Maybe a different one, because I will pay off. I've sung on the radio because I paid off a bet. So I'm capable of paying off bets.
Okay.
The hard part is, how do we pick a bet that he'll actually follow through with?
Right. That's the key. You got to find one that I'll pay off is what you got to do.
Nick ate sushi. We got video evidence. It happened.
I watched it recently too.
It did.
You haven't revisited that though? You haven't gone and got some sushi?
Just the one and only time I've had sushi.
You have not had sushi since you didn't get hooked on sushi, and he lives in Toledo, Eric. I mean, Jimmy, I did it. I did
sushi.
it. It's I already did it. Oh, I'm so sorry. I already screwed up. Did you even catch it, Jared? Did you even
Toledo.
catch it? No, that's not what happened.
What'd you say?
He didn't hear it. Nick, he didn't hear it.
It didn't happen.
Oh, did you say Eric?
Damn, dog, that's inappropriate.
Oh, man.
I think he's only a one-time MLS champion.
He is only a one-time MLS champion. You are a six-time MLS champion.
It says it right there.
Yeah, so
Congrats,
Nick
brother.
has not had any sushi since he paid off his sushi bet a couple years ago.
And you know what's happened since then?
What's happened since then?
My team has become respectable in the league.
That's right.
Yeah, don't get used to it.
However, since
this offseason's not been kind to you guys.
What are you talking
Jared's
about?
team has added another star to their badge, so it's a little here or there.
You really think you guys have filled the hole of Acosta?
Yes,
100%.
Yes,
Maybe even
100%.
Right out the
Yes.
gate. You think right out the
Yes.
gate?
Do you not know
Yes.
that Evander's on our team?
Yes,
now?
I know. You think right out of the gate he's just gonna go right in there.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
I'm not concerned. I
right.
was very relieved when Lucho left.
Well, this is the kind of debates we want to get into. So tonight on the Best Soccer Show, we're going to make our top 9 picks in the Eastern Conference. That's all the playoff spots. Our top 9 picks in the Western Conference, and then we'll pick a Supporter Shield winner, an MLS Cup winner, an MVP, and a Coach of the Year. That's it. That's the list.
All right.
So, gentlemen,
Oh, Coach,
Are
I didn't
we-
have that down here.
are we ready to dive in, or is there other business at hand? That's what we need
I
to
mean,
know.
other than just recognizing that Nick's kids are like high school sports powerhouses, from what I understand from his Instagram. Do you
Oh.
watch his Instagram?
I am not active on Instagram myself. No.
Nick, either you're doing a great job of playing them up, or they're superstars. I can't tell which, but it looks like the city of Perrysburg runs through the Sub household.
Yeah, the basketball seasons. We got our last game tomorrow night, senior night before the postseason starts. Ben's basketball team's doing really well. He missed, I want to say 3 weeks there in January. He had some back issues, but he's back out there playing now, which is good. And then softball kicked off this week for the high school season. So as soon as one season wraps up, we roll right into softball, and we get ready to go to Florida for spring break for that. And yeah, it's nonstop, man. It's nonstop. You'll find out sooner than you realize.
Yeah, but it's happening for me already, dude.
Yeah.
All right, Jason, we can do this now.
Bragging about your athlete children.
I'm proud of my man. He's got good things going on, and his wife's amazing with the pictures.
I'm glad. I'm glad that's going. I'm by the time those things happen for me, I'm going to be so old. It's going to be painful, I think.
Oh, and we got a puppy.
Oh, well, what's the puppy's name?
Griffin.
Better be good.
Like Peter?
Yeah.
No.
Gryffindor.
As in
what are we
door?
talking about?
Just Griffin. Just Griffin.
Just Griffin.
Does he go by Griff though? Come on, call him
Call him
Griff,
Griff,
right?
yeah, call him Griff.
Yeah, that's a Griff. That's a dog name, Griff.
Wait, hold on. It's a dog. So instead of just calling the dog Griff, because who cares what the dog doesn't need a full name, but you choose a full name so you can then shorten that name. And now instead of Griffin, which is the dog's name, you call dog Griff.
I'm not going to dog. You see what I did there? I'm not going to dog on the name that my kids came up with.
Wow. Good job, Jason. Jason will. He hates your children, obviously.
I don't. Yeah, I'm not here.
Does the dog have a middle name?
No, it does not.
Okay, that's too far. That's too far if you're giving to get your dog a middle name.
Nope. Just
Oh, sorry,
Griffin.
Jason's wife has 3 last names, so it's okay.
No, my wife has 2 last names, a middle name, and a first name. That's 4 names total. Can you do math? So does my child.
It's a joke on Puerto Rican names.
All of my children, all of my family, my wife included, have 4 names except for me. I'm the only 3-name person in my household because I'm too white for it, I guess, to have an extra. You can't have an extra name unless you're not white, I think is the rule. So I'm just a 3-name person. Yeah. All right. Let's dive in. So are we going to start where all the people live, or are we going to start out there where Jared says it's nicer or whatever?
Oh, you mean where champions reside?
The best
Our champions reside. Yeah, the best coast.
We can start on the East, because I actually think the East is the more problematic at the bottom. I think the East is going to be shook up a little bit this year.
Okay. The East was quote unquote better, has been better in terms of competition. Obviously, the champion came out of the West, and that's not something we can deny. The LA Galaxy did win the championship, but I think in general people think that the East.
But there's been a lot of movement on the East Coast teams this year in the offseason.
There's a lot of movement every year, but this is one of those years in MLS where it feels like some big things have happened, some major changes happened, some coaching things that will change the complexion have happened, and yeah, it's hard to kind of.
I think picking 9 teams out of the East to make the playoffs is harder than picking 9 teams out of the West.
All right. Oh, I'd like to hear your logic. So do you want to start in the problematic East?
Yeah. Should we each person go all the way there, or we each do our number ones? How do you want to do this?
No. I think we
just look our teams that we think will make the playoffs, and then we can seed them. I don't know.
Okay.
Okay. That's fine.
Or we can do it by. I'll do whatever you want.
Well, here's the thing. Jason hasn't made a list. He's just going to riff off ours.
Me too.
I actually do have an order for the Eastern Conference that I've already done because I did it for Morning Kick Around. I'm going to unveil I'm unveiling my West here tonight because this is before Morning Kick Around tomorrow, but I will also be talking about the West on Morning Kick Around tomorrow. Okay. So look for that.
Well, let's just go with first play. Do you want to go from top to bottom or bottom to top? How do you do it in your bedroom?
I think you got to start at the. I think
Start
you
at
got to
the
start at the top.
I
No,
start at the
okay.
top. It's called foreplay, Jason.
Start at the bottom. Start at the
Oh,
bottom
shoot.
and go up.
Kinky as hell. Okay.
No, that's not me. That was Nicholas Soup and Salad, who likes
right.
salad.
My
Apparently,
ninth place. I'm going with NYCFC here. I think they were good enough to be mid-table last season. I don't think they've added any real good key components here. I mean, the Sand's going to loan, and he ain't coming back anytime soon. I don't think he's a full deal.
No.
Yeah, I know he's not. That's what I'm saying. He's not coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, no, he's not coming back.
I don't know that NYCFC has improved on anything that's going to move them up. And I do think there's some other teams that finished below them last season that have improved in the offseason. I think they're going to drop down. Maybe not quite enough to get out of the playoff contention, but I have them in that ninth spot.
There's and remember all of this. This is why this is a ridiculous exercise that no one should put any stock into whatsoever, because MLS is impossible to predict, first of all, and second of all, the window is open for like another 2 months or whatever. So Santi Rodriguez could be sold by NYCFC. Pascal Jansen, they just hired him. He took over for Nick Cushion.
Isn't that the guy that plays Boba Fett?
Pascal Jansen? Is it? That's Pascal. Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal.
My bad.
Yeah. That feels vaguely racist. Is that a...
Wait. Did you get the word Pascal in there? Like, come on. It's either that or a 1990s coding language.
You're just confusing people with the name Pascal.
How's that for a deep cut, Nikki? How is that for a deep cut?
It's a pretty wild cut.
Pascal or maybe some Kermit. That's for the old heads right there.
Wow, that's pretty killing it. All right.
Do you guys want to give your ninths, or do you want me to go all the way through mine?
I will give you my ninth. My ninth place team, I have NYCFC in 10th. They have them outside the playoff picture.
I think it's right there.
I got that Nashville SC under our...
Nashville didn't make mine. I didn't make mine. Right? You know,
maybe we should do the teams we don't think are going to make the postseason.
All right. Well,
mine will be everyone else. I only stopped at 9. So.
Well, okay, look, Toronto's not good enough. Montreal's not good enough. I don't like the Revs. They turned over most of their team.
I match you completely so far.
The Philadelphia Union took a big step back. Now, they could.
Agreed.
Everything's very soft in this part of the table. So Philly could be
coaching change. Coaching change has me off Philly.
Yeah, they just traded today for Indiana Vasilev. Yeah. I mean,
Philly has a style of ball that's already their own. And to bring a new coach into that, to do a different, I think only someone like Oscar Pereja could come into that team and do what Philly does.
They're just turning the dial higher on the pressing. That's what they're doing with Bradley Carnell, right?
Oh,
they're taking what Jim Curtin did, turning the dial up, and then involving more kids, because that was what got Curtin ultimately dismissed, is that he didn't want to play as many kids as Ernst Tanner wanted him to play. So I got Philly outside. I got DC outside. I would like better for DC, but I got them outside.
We 100% matched on that, Jason. I didn't have any of those teams in my top 9 either. Did you have any in yours, Nick?
Well, I don't have a 9 yet. I'm literally riffing. See my list? It's like it's
well, you and I matched, Jason. So now it's just a matter if we match on the order. So it looks like I said NYC, you have Nashville. That's the only change we have. I have Nashville out. You have Nashville in. And you have NYCFC out. I have Nashville out. So
I'm just taking a chance on our man BJ. That is all I'm saying. I'm just taking a chance.
Always take a chance on BJ.
I know. I'm talking about
another one.
There it is. Our man. Yeah. BJ Callahan.
I will say for my 9th place spot.
Yeah.
Because when I'm looking at last year's standings, and again, obviously last year a lot has changed. Could Greg Berhalter sneak into the playoffs with Chicago?
I thought about it and I said nope.
I got him. I got him in there.
Really? We don't match on something then, Jason.
I got Chicago at 8 on my list. I think they're going to be competent and improved, and they'll be good enough. Because again, there are at least 3 teams I think are clearly bad, and that's Toronto, Montreal, and New England. Okay. Now, again, when you talk about Chicago, Nashville, NYCFC, DC, and Philadelphia, those teams are all like.
See, okay, we did not match in one way. I forgot.
What's that?
I do have Toronto as my number 8.
Oh, that's insane to me.
I think insane. I like John Herdman as a coach. I think they'll figure out the Italian thing.
Okay, you're gonna have to back up, because John Herdman no longer coaches Toronto FC.
Oh, my bad.
You know who does? You know who does? Robin Fraser.
Oh yeah, I knew that. We talked about it last week. My bad. And I like Riven Fraser even more.
Oh, okay. So it was like I like John Herdman,
No,
but I really like Robin Frazier.
I remember we talked about last week because I said Robin Frazier always gets the shit into the stick when it comes to coaching jobs. But I still think like they spend so much money. At some point, something's got to click there.
But they didn't. They're not right now. They're not going out. You know what? Okay.
One team from the bottom always makes it the next year. And I think
agree.
that's the
why I
one.
went with Chicago.
Is this our first bet whether or not Toronto makes the playoffs?
I'm going to give you Toronto FC's attack, their forward group right now. You ready? You tell me where you feel the confidence.
Confidence? I'm saying 8th.
But okay, but they still have to score some goals. They still have to win. Okay.
What makes you think great about Chicago other than Berhalter?
They went out and spent money. Jonathan Bamba looks legit in preseason. This preseason, but
all new players. Like, how do you know they're going to be able to play well?
Not all new players. They didn't turn over the entire team.
No, but okay.
Toronto was bad. I'm sorry. Toronto was bad. And I think it's insane you don't think Toronto was bad. But let's move on because we're still at the bottom end of the playoff pool. So let's keep going.
I don't say they're not bad. I say they're the 8th, like what the 6th worst team.
I think they're 14th place bad or 15th place bad is my statement on that.
I think Philly finishes lower than them.
I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility with Chicago here. I know we're talking about Toronto. Toronto finished the year with 37 points, right? Chicago's got 30 last year. They finished with 30. They win 4 more games. They're in the freaking playoff. Just 4. It's all it is.
That's all it takes. Yeah.
So
that's all it takes.
I'm going with Chicago. I agree with Jason. No, I don't think Toronto is going to be a playoff team. So I have them as out.
No.
I probably, because you're right, there's going to be movement. If I had to look, I would take out Montreal was one of those playoff teams from a year ago. I think they'll drop out, and I'll say DC sneaks in 8.
Okay. All right.
All right.
What's your 7? No, your 7.
7 for me is Charlotte.
Oh, you already did your 8s? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, 8 was was Toronto.
Oh.
Who's your 8?
Mine was Toronto. I said that.
No, Nicholas.
Oh, DC.
Nicolas.
He said
DC at 8. I have Chicago at 8.
Yep.
Let's continue.
That's right.
I've got Charlotte. I've got Charlotte at 7, 5th last season, and I think some other teams have just enhanced their teams more. I don't think they're going to be bad. I just don't think that. I think just a few other teams that we're going to talk about here in a second have added more in the offseason, and I think they're going to make some splashes. This year is going to knock them down a bit. I think they'll be about as good as they were last season, but I don't think that's going to be good enough for 5th this year.
Okay, I have Charlotte at 7 also. I do think there's a chance we're underrating Charlotte a little bit. Whether or not Ajaman looks like the player we saw in January camp and bangs in 20 goals or whatever is part of the story there. A lot of obviously turns on Wilfred Zaha because they're giving him cash and they need him to be good Premier League level kind of Wilfred Zaha. I mean, not Premier League level, but good enough and engaged enough.
Hey, they were ambitious this offseason. You got to give them credit. They just didn't land everything they wanted to land. But in terms of ambition, there's not many teams this year that tried to do more in the offseason.
They've got the reigning goalkeeper of the year in Kalina. That's worth mentioning because he's going to save them games, and that could be the difference between, not making the playoffs or finishing 5th again or whatever it is. There's some things to like, and I think they're going to be. I think they'll be interesting. But I have them at 7 because I think some other teams got stronger, relatively speaking.
Nicky? What you got to set at the 7th spot?
I'm going Red Bulls.
I'm not too far away from you because not to lead the horse to water. I have Red Bulls in 6th. I got one spot up. You got him as well, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mm-hmm. I think obviously MLS Cup appearance, but if we're being honest, that's an example of that MLS team that gets hot at the right time. I think the defense will take them a long ways, but I don't think it can take them much higher than that level.
Yeah, I mean, look, they know how to use that system. They lose something in terms of set pieces with John Tolkien being sold, so that's a thing, I guess. When you play that way too, I mean, Emil Forsberg can take a set piece. I'm not saying he can't, but it's that left-footed service from Tolkien was important. It wasn't the playoffs last year. Obviously, everybody's going to be wondering what Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting is going to do because
they lose Benazir. The
weird signing for them. Not weird. It's weird in the sense that he's 35, and it feels like a reach to think he's going to make a big difference. So yeah, I mean, I think they're a sixth place kind of team right now.
I would not be shocked if the Red Bulls didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah, but I think you said for everyone between 6 and 9. I think 5 is where the mustard is kind of like that's the cutting line. 5 and up, I think, are all going to be good teams this year. I agree with you. 6, 7, 8, 9, any one of those could fall out pretty easily.
Yeah. I think there's 3 tiers. Well, okay, I think there's 4 tiers. There's a couple of teams at the very top. There's a group from 3 to 5 or 6 that are like all relatively equal, kind of similar. Then you have the teams that I think will definitely make the playoffs, like Charlotte. I think they'll make the playoffs. Now, you could say from 8, where I have Chicago, and 9, where I have Nashville, down to Philadelphia in 12th. Those teams could make the playoffs or miss the playoffs. Like, it's very small.
You forgot Toronto.
I did not. I did not.
No, we didn't.
No.
Plus, you know how angry these Canadians are about to be at us?
They're angry now.
They're
They
playing
should
for
be.
pride.
Should be. It's insane. Yeah, they're going to come down and kick our butts because, I don't know, whatever. That's
Nicky,
not
who you
talking
got a
about it.
6?
I'm going with Charlotte.
Charlotte. Okay, so we're all in the same range. We just have them a little bit of different order right there. Now, I think 5 right here. This is it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 5th place here. This might be a little shocker for some. I don't know. Maybe you guys. I think this is realistic given the offseason they had. I have Columbus here. I think they've lost too many pieces, man.
So do I. I'm them 5th.
Interesting.
Now, no, I'm not trying to be disrespectful.
I think it could be a good team. Well, I believe in Wilfred Nancy, but you just can't move that many pieces and expect people to have a lot of faith.
Yeah, I think. Well, when you lose to Coach Hernandez, it doesn't matter. People are going to go like, "Oh,
Aiden
we're
Morris,
downgrading you." Aiden Morris as well. I think they will be, good for their talent, and right now that talent is just a little short. Diego Rossi's got to pick up a lot of slack when it comes to the attacking end of the field. They also Christian Ramirez is also gone.
Yeah, Christian Ramirez is
way.
gone. Yep, little poacher. But I don't think anyone's going to say that they don't have good players and they don't have a good coach. It's a lot to get right off the top, and I think it's going to take them a while to figure it out. But good enough that I think 5th is realistic for them. Maybe they make us all look stupid. I don't know. Nicky, what do you think of 5?
This is very sorry, real quick. This is not a big signing or anything. They brought in Lapalainen, who I've liked in this league, formerly of Montreal. I think he can be a good addition. But again, it's like, what else did they do that really makes you go, okay, yeah, I'm keeping them in that top tier?
You ready for a shocker?
Go for it.
Miami.
Miami 5th.
That is.
Oh my god.
That is honestly interesting, dude.
Here's why. Here's my reason why.
Okay.
First time head coach, right?
Yes.
In MLS. I don't think he's because has Mascherano had been a head coach anywhere?
The U20s for Argentina, I believe, is top level. And that's what I'm telling you. Top level is U20s for Argentina.
So first time head coach. Doesn't know the league.
No.
He's got an aging squad. There are some younger pieces. I get that. But Messi's going to miss some time. I'm sure of it. He's going to get injured at some point.
I was weighing how much to play that into mine when I was like, I don't think Messi plays a whole season, whether by injury, fatigue.
Sure. And you guys are taking a realistic gamble if you say that Messi's going to miss time and then downgrade Inter Miami. It's a realistic gamble. But there's also a possibility that even if he missed time before and they still won a bunch of games. Like, it didn't matter. So, yeah.
But that was also with a manager who was familiar with the league.
Sure.
Tata. And I think there's going to be a drop-off. You just set a points record. It's kind of hard to follow that up the next year with something very
Nicky
similar.
Definitely going anti-chalk. That's for sure. I'm not there with you. I got them higher on mine.
But I also think, too, the Shield, what did it get them last year? It got them nothing in the postseason.
Sure.
They were spent. So they realized, look, they've just got to get into the dance. And 5th is not a bad spot.
And they're going to have more distractions this season than last year, too.
Sure.
They Club
so
World
that's
Cup
why
as well.
I don't have them at the top of the Eastern Conference this year.
CONCACAF Champions Cup. They just won the first leg in
League
ice
Cup.
cold conditions.
If Mascherano can win there, he can win anywhere.
That's true.
All right. For me at the 4, I'm sorry, Nick. I'm putting Cincinnati here. I got Cincinnati at the 4. Like I said, I think they'll be good. I think they're going to have to figure out some stuff off the top. I don't know that Miazga is 2023 Defender of the Year level anymore. And I think they'll be good.
Doesn't have to be. I think Miles Robinson is going to be Defender of the Year level again. Think he'll be there.
I feel like they'll be good. I just don't know that they're going to get the good start. I think they with Columbus. I think both these two teams are both good and they have great pieces, but I think they're both going to have chemistry issues out of the gate, and that's maybe why 2 of the 3 teams I have above this are not going to have to deal with that.
I disagree
Okay,
with
that's
chemistry
fair.
issues.
You disagree with what?
I disagree with chemistry issues, but I'll
Okay.
save that for when I pick.
Well, okay, so you don't have them there, obviously, which is fine, and we'll. I don't either. I don't have them that low. Now, but if we're going to talk about Cincy, and since Jared put him there, what's going on with Orellano right now?
As far from what I'm understanding is that they are negotiating a longer term contract or giving him a pay raise.
All right, so
the issues stem more from his parent club not paying his wages.
I see. Okay, so you have no real concern that you're going to miss out, or he's going to be a problem, or this is going to be Lucho all over again.
No,
Nothing
I don't
like that.
I don't believe that to be.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think chemistry is going to be the big issue. But we'll get to Cincinnati. So that was we're on number 4 right now.
Yeah.
Is that where we are?
That's 4 for me. Oh yeah,
I got
1,
Orlando.
2, 3, yeah.
I got Orlando City at 4.
Same here.
Yeah, I mean, Oscar knows what he's doing. You know that it was disappointing last year. Don't get me wrong. In the way the season ended, obviously they were thinking maybe we're good enough to go win the thing. But I think they're going to put a very good team on the field again, right? We'll see what Marko Pasalic brings. That's the 24-year-old Croatian that they signed.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to, if he's a difference maker. They obviously sold some important pieces, but they've replaced. They've shown that willingness to go back out and get the players in.
They get Atuesta.
Atuesta being added to that midfield is a big one for them. It's a big get. I think that's very good. I think it's important. And, some of it does turn on whether Gallesi is good anymore. Like, I'm not sure. Is Gallesi still a top-level
I've never been a
goalkeeper?
fan. Never been a
Okay.
fan. I just honestly don't think he's that good. I think, I don't know. Just me. I've never been that impressed. I will say I have Orlando at 3. Just to get into the next category, I think, like I said, the only reason I put in Orlando above Cincinnati because I think Orlando will have a better start. I honestly feel like Oscar Pareja is going to be able to hit the ground running a little bit more. I am also a big fan of Oscar Pareja. Cincinnati, you also got some weird stuff happening behind the scenes, man. I don't know what's going on with the Albright stuff and some players. I don't know. It seems weird.
That was the Lucho thing. Lucho calling out Albright. I don't know why you're focused on that too much. One guy complaining about some
star guy.
No, sure, but your star guy who has kind of always not wanted to be there. Like, this is the thing about Lucho's career. He came here and it was like, I'm going to get my launching pad. The PSG deal fell through. He never really wanted to be here. He gets sold to Mexico. I don't think he really wanted to be there either. So coming back to MLS was like, I got to prove it again. He said he thinks he proved it. He won an MVP. He thinks he proved it. He thinks he's supposed to be somewhere bigger and better. Now, he's going to learn real quick that there's a big difference between playing for FC Cincinnati and FC Dallas these days, but we'll see how that goes.
Okay, so that takes me to my 3. Like I said, I took Orlando, so we flip-flop there.
Yeah. All right. Are we on 3 now?
Yep.
Yeah, that was my 3. What's your 3?
I got Atlanta United at 3.
Okay.
I got,
I think we all think they're going to have a better season. I think it'll be a big jump season for them. It's no matter how far you think they're going to jump.
They have an MLS champion head coach. They went out and got a goal scorer. Now, we got to see him score goals in this league, but they went out and got a true goal scorer. They obviously brought back Almiron, who I think still has something. He wasn't right for him at Newcastle, but that doesn't mean he can't still play at a high level in Major League Soccer. They have, I don't know, momentum is the right word because I don't think that necessarily works, but they have something off of last year and how they played and that beating Miami and all that.
Good signing and Klitsch. They picked him up for a depth piece, a veteran.
Yeah. They can run out a midfield that has Klitsch and Slij. Isn't that amazing? That's just incredible for us people who can't speak Polish.
It sounds like monsters in a dungeon campaign of some kind.
Two Poles out there. So yeah, I mean, I still like them. They have some pieces that were good from last year that helped them get that upset in the offseason. Again, the big name is Latte Lath. Then you throw in Almiron, and there's some depth. So I like it, and I like Atlanta a lot.
I'm going with the team that I refuse to say their name, and that is that team down to my south now.
You got them
We call
third.
them-
Miami?
Wow.
No, the other black and
Oh.
no, black and gold. Black and gold.
Okay, got you. Okay.
A team that Jason Hoover in the chat roots for. That'll eventually move
okay.
to Cleveland.
Shout out to you. Can't is that really a thing? You're gonna go so far as I do not speak their name. They are unnameable.
Unfortunately,
how it
that's
is?
kind of the things we do here in this state. We don't say the M word. If you're an Ohio State fan, I'm not, but
Right. So why did you say M word? Why did you just say Michigan?
Macaroni?
It's just a thing, man. It's just a thing. I'll say Michigan. I don't have a problem saying
So
Michigan.
when
shoot.
somebody buys an American car and they're like, "Yeah, where was your car made?" They have to be like the state up north. They can't say Michigan. Is that? I don't know. How
Ohio
does that
State
work?
fans just don't say Michigan.
That's so
Okay.
dumb.
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever, Jason. I'm gonna
So
be
you've
I'll
got
be
Columbus there. So we
I've
got a
got
little bit of different
Columbus
teams
there.
there. Okay.
Okay.
I said it. You
Okay.
don't have to say it. I
I
said
know.
it.
well. He said it in the Jason said it in the chat. He was civil and said FC Cincinnati. So I will.
Yeah,
say
this is definitely a word you shouldn't, an M word you shouldn't say. Macarena. Justin's correct. You shouldn't say Macarena.
Hey,
All right.
All right. So going to number 2, and I think like this is a big swing for me, but I think we all expect a lot from this team. I took Atlanta at 2. I think,
Okay.
and it's acknowledged.
I did as well.
I'll acknowledge the fact it's a big swing. It definitely is. But that team takes there's a few teams in this league that seem to take this very serious. Atlanta takes this serious. They've been bad for a couple of years, but I
Yeah.
think as an organization, they take this serious. They want to win. I think they want to fill that beautiful stadium that they have. I think their fans are passionate. I think this team's dedicated to bringing back that passion.
How long is Garth in there?
What's that?
How long's
So
Garth
this
in
is,
there?
I believe, his third season.
Yeah,
I
They're
believe.
gonna
I mean,
be.
There's a
Yeah.
few things in MLS that have always rang
Man,
true, and Garth Logaway is one of them.
They picked up. They brought in Garth's right hand man from Seattle. A guy helped turn Seattle into a juggernaut.
He's like
Chris
Kuntz'
Henderson,
dad.
So
You know, like it's like the guy that Kuntz kind of learns from. You know, like there's a couple guys that really like to make the deals, and I think Kuntz has looked at Lagerway and says, "Okay, I think I can do this too." So there's a couple GMs. I think Florington's in that conversation. There's a
Sure.
few that I think are
Sure.
up in that echelon.
No. Having Chris Henderson be the one to execute everything and make everything happen under the rules and then Garth now as president gets to, kind of be overarching the guy who's, pulling all the strings. I think you're right. I think Atlanta United's going to be very, very good. So you have them at 2.
Same here. Yep.
I got Nick's boys at number 2. I do think they didn't. This is a reload situation. I'm not saying that Evander will be just as good as Lucho initially, but I think he's just as talented a player. He's younger. There's lots of reasons to think he's going to slip right in after his bad experience in Portland. Like in terms of the culture, I think it's night and day for him to arrive in Cincinnati where everybody's mostly bought in and they're attracting players. So I don't see any reason why Cincinnati can't be top 2 in the Eastern Conference this season.
So I'm interested to see who Nick's got at number 1 because I've got Miami. I took the chalk. I'm sure you probably did too, Jay.
I did. I took Miami at number 1. I feel like it's impossible to bet against Lionel Messi until he proves he can't do it anymore. And that's not what we've seen.
So trying to do the mental math who Nick has here, then I'm trying to remember who he hasn't used. Oh shoot. Okay, I know who he's
Like what's happening?
I mean,
Sorry, it's just so ridiculous. I didn't think
he
he would
just-
actually
It's
do it.
not ridiculous.
he just homered it. He figured out a way to move Miami down so he can.
I'll tell you
space
right
for his
now,
boys.
I'm real. I didn't put my team at number 1.
That's
I
your team took some
genuinely
lumps. Your
I
team took some
genuinely
lumps.
think that with the addition of Evander and this Kevin Denke guy, the striker
Denke's
that's
the other
running,
one. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Evander is now. I don't know if Evander had that type of forward in front of him in Portland,
No, he did not.
and he already had an MVP caliber year last year.
Yes.
I have no worries that this is going to be a smooth
I guess
transition.
my thing is, I get that Portland is not a good place to be or something like that, but also I'm wondering, is he a little bit of a drama queen? Is he a little bit of a drama queen?
He could be, but I don't think that's going to be an issue. I think you've got a no-nonsense coach who knows exactly what he's doing, and I think you've got an organization that's going to keep him happy. They just spent $12 million on him. They made him the poster child for the cash for trades maneuver in Major League Soccer. He gets to say forever.
What do you mean? Jovic was the poster child. He did it first.
Yeah, but he's the most.
How much?
expensive.
How much did Jovic go for? Yeah, right. That's the thing. Like, sometimes it's just about being wanted and knowing that a club cares about winning. And the thing about Portland is they brought him in initially, but clearly they didn't give him enough pieces or do enough around him. And there is a lot of toxic stuff that kind of bounces around the Timbers. You know that. So as soon as Cincinnati was like, yeah, we're going to throw $12 million of money, not GAM, but what we just straight up cash. I mean, I've seen the pictures of him being, having the jersey, smiling from ear to ear. Like he is, you can tell, happy, that dude. Scored a goal in the
How
CONCACAF
many
championship.
announcement videos you see with guys when they're frowning in their new jersey? Come on.
No, I'm just saying, I think if you read the way things ended in Portland, the way it looks, he is primed to throw everything he's got at helping Cincinnati be one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference. I don't have him number one, but I can see it.
To the West.
Okay, let's go. We got, Miami, and Cincinnati for number one in the.
Should we make a
Eastern
wager
Conference.
on that?
On Miami versus Cincinnati,
Or do we want to do?
or who has get the most things
Let's
right?
do the West. Let me let it simmer here.
I'm watching the clock tick down.
I don't know about wagering anything as just Jason, but okay.
Oh, because I'm a welcher. I know. I get it. All right, let's go to the Western Conference. This is where Jared's boys reside, the defending MLS Cup champions, taking a bunch of lumps. Taking a bunch of lumps on in the offseason because they couldn't keep everybody happy, couldn't keep everybody around. All right, what do we got here, gentlemen? We're going from 9 to 1 again. Who wants to start?
9 to 1. I'll start here. I took Kansas City here. I think they're last year. I think big swing going for Jovic. I said that there's always one team from the bottom that makes it in. I've picked two, actually. I've moved two people kind of into these playoff picture in the West. I think the West is a little bit more up for grabs than the East is.
For sure it is.
So I took KC. I'm not like it was KC or Minnesota for me. And I don't know. I just feel like that was a big move to go for Jovic. Minnesota didn't really improve their team that much in the offseason. So I went with kind of a stab in the dark here and going for that one.
All right. This is tough. I mean, there's a lot of just rampant mediocrity in the Western Conference right now. Yeah. It just feels like everybody outside of maybe 2 or 3 teams is just stuck in nothing. I'm going to put San Jose at 9. I want to get Bruce into my playoff field. I don't think they're making a 10-spot jump or something insane like that. So I'm going to sneak them in. Bruce has maybe played down expectations a little bit in preseason, where he's basically like, I'm not making any proclamations. I got to see how we look in the regular season. But, man, they are clearly going to be better in 2025. Yeah. If they had managed to score Lucho Acosta, I maybe would have them a spot or two higher, but they didn't get him, so I'm going to have them at 9.
I'll tell you right now, they're in my list, and I haven't talked about them yet.
Okay. Nicholas Supincelli.
But they are not 9th. Let me, again, you're going to have to refresh my memory. Before San Diego, who was the last expansion team? Was it St. Louis?
Austin? They came in the same year, didn't they? Austin, St. Louis, same year?
No.
I don't think so.
No?
No.
So St. Louis made the postseason in their first year, right?
They did indeed.
Quit San Diego. No. Not going.
I mean, you would have thought St. Louis was going to do it based on that team they brought in.
That's true.
That's true.
Austin made it also in their first year, if I'm not mistaken.
They did. Yes.
Actually, very good season their first year.
FC Cincinnati did not. That was a.
So you think Luka Del Toro and Chucky Lozano are going to take them to the promised land?
You guys did the inverse of make the playoffs the first year. You guys were like, yeah. You guys playing in a different league. Somehow you got relegated in the middle of the season and nobody saw you again.
Right. So there has been a history of inaugural season teams making the postseason.
Yep,
I do not see San Diego being that team.
All right, you just want to throw a shot out. All right.
Yeah. Because I also am looking at this list from last year. I'm like, wait, we're missing.
Well, who are you taking?
So at 9, I am going to take. Man, I'm going to say Portland.
Okay,
I'll say Portland.
They are not.
They lose Evander, but they did bring in a guy to replace them.
They did.
Like they did. Be a player, so I couldn't tell you his name.
And Phil Neville is talking is DaCosta. They brought in DaCosta. They're talking. Sorry, David. Is it DaCosta or just Costa? I'm not sure. They brought in somebody to replace Evander.
I think
again, that is.
But I couldn't remember the first name.
It is that thing of. Okay, does he adapt to MLS? Is he going to have to figure out that playing on turf in Portland? Is it travel? That kind of stuff. I don't think that's a bad pick. I don't think that's a bad pick. In fact, I might sneak Portland into my field, and I haven't talked about him yet. So
Who was your 9, Jason?
my 9 was San Jose. That was
San
my
Jose.
9.
Okay.
Yeah.
8 for me. I have a little bit of a slide from last year. I have Colorado in this slot. I think the loss of Bombito is going to be bigger than a lot of people think. I think that's going to be tough for them. They didn't really add any significant pieces, and I think we didn't. Who's their small striker that left to? What's that?
They took our center back, Cheeto Awazium.
Yeah, but I mean, Bombito was next level, dude. That dude was a stud.
It was good. Yeah, it was good. Yeah.
And I think who they just lose? God, the speedy striker up front that just went overseas. I'm blanking on it.
Oh, Jonathan Lewis
Jonathan Lewis.
But,
a bench piece for them. It's a depth piece for them, but
yeah,
they're not adding a lot.
Well, they added DiPietro, who I think is decent. I'm not saying he's going to take them anywhere. They did grab Josh Atencio from Seattle in the midfield. I like Atencio. I think that's good. That's going to help Georgi Mihailovic be able to do Georgi Mihailovic things, and I love Georgi Mihailovic. So, and Cole Bassett is upper echelon sort of MLS midfielder.
You still got Zach Steffen in the pipes. I don't believe in him. Sorry.
Okay. All right. That's and I think that's.
I haven't making the playoffs, but I just think they're going to slide slightly from where they were last year mainly because I think a few other teams got better.
I do think their center back situation is not ideal in Colorado. I will say that. I don't think that's ideal. All right. So you have Colorado at 8? 8. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right. So I haven't given my 8th place team yet. All right. I'm gonna stick Portland there. I don't think they're ever anything to really be afraid of, but they always manage to figure out some way to string together some results. I don't think Phil Neville's a bad coach. DaCosta could be something, and they have that home field advantage, right? They have the Timbers Army, and I'm always kind of rooting for the Timbers Army even if I'm not rooting for the Timbers themselves. So I will put Portland at 8.
For 8, I've got San Jose.
Okay.
We'll all have San Jose in our lineup now.
I think Bruce might be the GOAT in the league as far as coaches.
Might.
I don't think you need to say right. No.
Hard to argue.
Don't.
I know they've been bad, but some stability is going to be key. So I'm going with
over under on Chicho Arango goals in San Jose this season. Quickly. Over under.
I'll say again.
What's the line? Over under on Chicho Arango goals in San Jose.
I'll tell you what, I thought about him for Golden Boot. I thought about it.
I don't think
is there a gambling line on that right now? I'm sure there is.
I don't think it's going to come from one of the teams that wins the Supporters Shield or one of the top teams at East or West. I think it's going to come from a mid-table team with the Golden Boot this season. There's just not a lot of prolific strikers. I mean, you could guess Messi, that's chalk, but I don't think he'll miss some games. We'll see. But man, I would put his over under on 14 goals.
I think it's about right. 14.
Take the over.
You take the over on 14? Okay, well, then San Jose might have a very good season.
We got to set it at 13.5.
Yes.
Put a half in there, man.
Sure. It's 13.5. Yeah. Okay. All right. So San Jose 8th. Where are we now?
7. Number 7 for me. I've got Dallas here. I think Dallas makes the playoffs. I think, like I said, the West is not as strong in the middle to low end as the East is. And so I think there's going to be a few more surprise teams in the West than there were in the East.
Okay.
Plus you're dealing with an expansion team in there.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. How much higher did you move them or how much lower would they have been
last season
without Lucho Acosta?
Oh, I don't think I would put him in.
Okay.
I don't think
so. Lucho makes the difference between playoffs and not playoffs.
Yeah, I think they upgraded center back and right back. I think you add an MVP level playmaker. I am a little worried about what they got a lot of money to spend with some of the pieces they moved out, but the pieces they moved out, I think we're ready for a move. Taking out Ferreira, taking out Areola. I think these are the guys that were ready to move on someplace else, and Dallas always has new youth coming up somewhere. So I think we'll see some of it. This is one that could, if I look down my list, this is the most likely one to be a miss, like not even making it, I think. Well, maybe KC. I took another swing on that one too. But I just do think that Dallas has upgraded enough. And other teams, like I said, like the Minnesotas, who else would I have? Austin, I don't think Austin's going to make a move. I don't think Kansas City, St. Louis is going to make a move. I think they've done more in the offseason. I think they'll at least make it in somehow.
Okay. All right. I
also went with Dallas at 7. And
Did
the
you?
reason
Oh,
for
my
that
goodness.
is, they were only 6 points off a playoff spot last year. And I think Lucho alone is worth 6 points, maybe more.
Okay. All right. I'm not there on Dallas. I know the Lucho thing is a big deal.
It's definitely a lot of the West teams are a risk, though. It's not nearly as much established as the East.
Yeah. So I had San Jose at 9. I had Portland at 8. I got Real Salt Lake at 7. I don't think you should bet against Pablo pulling something out. And last year definitely overachieved. Definitely overachieved in terms of where they finished in the table. And again, I think that's also a reflection of the Western Conference as much as it is RSL just figured some things out and put some stuff together. But man, they go out there and they work for their manager. They bust their ass. And I think Diego Luna's on he's on a track where he could be a sort of a sneaky MVP candidate kind of player, depending on how things go. I'm hoping for that anyway. I'm a fan, obviously.
For more big balls, huh?
I mean, lots more big balls. Do I have let me see. What do I have there?
I say big balls.
There it is. Lucho's big balls. Diego Luna's big balls, rather. There is this issue with Elias Manuel, where apparently he doesn't want to play in Salt Lake after being traded by the Red Bulls. They got to figure that out. They still don't really have a replacement for Chicho, who apparently did some bad things. Nobody really knows. It's not public, but did some bad stuff. So
I think I definitely did to hit them down a little bit, but I'm still betting on Pablo a little bit at this point. I'll talk about mine here in a sec, but yeah, I still have them in that realm, but they could easily slide further than where I have them.
Okay. All right. So that's 7 for me.
Number 6, Nick already said he had the same as me. Number 6 for me, I have San Jose here. Again, could be a reach. But like I said, the West, I feel like Bruce Arena knows the West. Bruce Arena knows this league. And he's done a good job in the offseason. I think San Jose gets to start like a fresh slate. They've turned over so much stuff. There's going to be some combination issues and chemistry issues, I think, out the gate. But if there's anything that Bruce does, he's a player's manager. And a guy like that could get the best out of Chicho Arango. A guy that probably just wants a guy to leave him alone. And Bruce is that kind of coach. So we'll see. It's a lot of pieces have to come together for it, but I think San Jose can definitely threaten to get up into this area.
Okay. So we're on number 6.
Yeah.
All right. If not for some concerns I have about a couple other teams, and I haven't trying to figure out just how to make this work. And I really want to put your team here, Jerry. I really want to put.
I like this from Aaron Pimentel in the chat. Bruce is like life in Jurassic Park. He finds a way.
Yeah, I really want to put the Galaxy here, but I think I'm going to put Austin here. I don't. You said you're not buying Austin. I'm buying on Austin. Yeah, I'm buying on Austin. I think they've done. think they've spent some money and they're going to get better and they're going to score goals. And I think it's going to be possible for them to finish as high as 5th in the Western Conference.
Fair. Yeah, I mean, I will say, I dropped my jaw when you said that, but I also have a team in my top playoff list here that is also, so I get it.
Wow. I mean, look,
you got to have a shocker in there.
Is Vasquez going to bang in 25?
No.
Probably not. But if he gets, I know you don't love him. I know you're not a fan, but I do think he's going to score goals.
Want to set an over?
Over. Who scores more, Chicho Arango or Brandon Vasquez?
Arango. Yes. I will say by 5 or more.
By 5 or more.
So you're putting Vasquez on 10 goals, Nick?
Dude, no, he gets more than 10.
Because we just put Arango's over under at 14, right?
Set it at 10.5, and I'll take.
That's Nick. Come on, think for a second though. That 10.5, that's rough.
All right, if we went 12.5, I might take the under.
I can see
12.5 is okay. So,
but straight up, Arango or Vasquez. I'm taking Arango.
Same here.
Okay. I'll take Arango.
Who's the coach in Austin now?
Nico Estevez, FC Dallas, formerly FC Dallas head coach.
Former Greg Berhalter assistant.
So I do think there's reason to believe that Mirto Uzuni, who's their big offseason signing, they broke their transfer record. I think he was 15 mil, 16 mil, something like that. I do think he's going to score in this league. I do think he's going to be good.
I will
in
say
this
I
league.
liked Dallas when Nico was the coach. I did like what Dallas was doing when he was there.
Okay, so I'm not insane, is what you're trying to tell me.
No, for picking Austin, you're insane. For liking Nico, no, you're not.
All right. Well, I'm putting Austin there anyway. What was that, number 6? I got put
That's a
Austin at
hot
number
one.
6. Okay, go ahead.
Let's see. That means number 5. I have RSL here at 5. I think that's, like I said, this is a really tough pick. I really like the way that this team believes in Pastor Money. You can tell that they fight for him. I like you. I think Luna could be his breakout season. I do wonder who's going to punch the goals in up front. That's a lot to replace in Arango. But I think this is a gritty team, and gritty teams can do things in MLS. So I'm going to take RSL here, knowing that this might be an overreach for them.
Okay. All right. Number 6 for you, Nick.
I had LA Galaxy.
All right. Any particular reason you're throwing them at 6?
1, 2, 3, 4.
I thought
we're at 5.
Yeah.
Okay, but you hadn't talked about the Galaxy.
Oh, sorry.
Yet, right?
When you said LA Galaxy, I kind of said that too. Okay.
No,
Yeah,
I know you put it there. I didn't know if you wanted to explain your position on this.
For me, it's the Puig injury. A lot of uncertainty with when he's going to be back. If
a lot of veterans gone.
Right. So they had a great year last year, obviously. But yeah, I think they'll still make the postseason because I think Manny's a good coach.
I think every LA Galaxy fan is just in make the postseason mode, and
Sure.
they get to the postseason, and then anything can happen at that point.
Right.
And
who knows? You might be able to do something in the transfer window late in the summer.
I don't think we have the maneuver. I mean, we'd have to move some cash around. That's the hard part for us right now.
Yeah. So I went with LA at 6.
All right.
But we were doing 5. So what are
what's
your
5, Jared? You said
It's a
RSL?
crapshoot.
RSL is my 5.
I got LA Galaxy at 5. And
Okay.
for all the reasons that Nick just said. I mean, there's some replacement things that are very difficult here that are interesting. I like Christian Ramirez. I don't think he's a lead center forward in Major League Soccer at this point in his career.
Yeah, but
So-
I mean, he won't have to be once Puig and Painsil are healthy, but it's just a matter of
Right.
getting to that point.
You don't have Puig till August, and Payne still has
April.
2 or 3 months left.
Yeah.
So, April. I guess that's
I think
And-
the thinking is the Nascimento guy they brought in can play that left wing as well.
Yeah. And look, I love Peck, but I think Peck works best when he doesn't have to.
You're going to be able to
carry
double
everything
him.
by
You're going to be able to double him
Exactly.
this season. You couldn't do that last year.
So I got them at 5. It again, it's real soft right here. This is a lot of like.
five's a
oh.
My 5 is a shocker.
What's
All
that?
right, give us your 5.
So there's usually a team in the bottom that has a big jump, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We've been dying for this team to be successful in the league for the last few years. It's been a long, long time. A lot of questions about this team. But I think Peter Vermees gets it turned
Oh
around.
my
Hey,
God.
I put him in 9th. I put him in. I
Oh.
said they're going to
Put 'em-
make the
my.
playoffs.
I
I think
think
5
they're
is
a team,
little nuts.
But again, like I said, there's usually a team that makes that big jump up
Yeah.
in the standings.
every year.
People are going to sleep on
RSL last year, right?
But there are other teams you can make the argument for that
Now.
are stronger than Sporting at this point. I mean, Jovic, I get it. He's a big weapon. I mean, he's going to do better than who was the Mexican there? I'm blanking on his name right now.
one we
starts
thought
with
was going to
P.
be the Golden Boot winner and never.
Starts with a P.
Oh my gosh! I thought you guys said the name, and now my brain is not helping me. I can see his haircut. I can't see see
Haircut's
who he
horrible.
is right now.
Dang.
Should-
You made this, Jason. You finish it.
Okay.
The chat will give it to us, I'm sure.
It's A and P.
Polito.
Alan Polito.
Polito.
Alan Polito. Yeah.
Yeah.
See there. It's just
Jared and I
it's
were
just brain
both
fart.
picking the one.
I
that
had
was
the
Golden
letters.
Boot winner.
Did you?
Yeah, we
Okay.
did. We did a couple
And
years
then
ago.
you got hurt.
All right.
You got hurt
All
that
right.
season.
So
All right.
I will say, look, there's usually one team that makes a big jump up, and I will also say that I would not be surprised if Kansas City finished second bottom of the West.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
there's always you got to take a chance. You got to be different. I'm not going to go chalk.
Okay.
KC
My
5.
man ain't vanilla.
No.
All right, number 4 for me, and this is a team that I think a lot of us haven't mentioned yet. I think all of us haven't mentioned yet. and I think we're all expecting good things from this season. Houston. I got Houston here at the 3. You don't have Houston at all, Jason?
I don't either.
Really?
Nope.
I thought you
No.
all were saving it. Like, I think
No.
Houston's going to have
No.
a very good season this year.
No, they lost their 2 most important players, and you just don't replace them that fast. I in this case, if they had like won the West, if they were LA Galaxy and had won a title and then lost Ache and Coco Carrasquilla and went out and tried to replace him, I'd be like, okay, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. That's not who they are. That's not who they are. I like Jack McGlynn. I get it. Nico Ladero's coming in, but man's on some broke legs at this point, Nico Ladero. So I don't see it. I don't.
Man,
I don't see. I don't have them.
I think last year was you got to see a bit of it. I get it. They lost 2 big pieces. I still think Ben Olsen's got something interesting happening down there. I'm gonna say that I think they're gonna do something this season.
You just have a man crush on Ben Olsen. That
is a fine fur coat he wears every day.
Just be honest that you have a man crush on Ben Olsen. A man crush on Ben Olsen. Wow, that's 3.
I'd like to touch that man coat.
That's 3. Wow, that is okay. All right. Now I'm gonna shock a little bit. Wait, are we at 3? Is that where we're at? 4. Okay. I think this is going to be a shock for some people. And
oh wait, we're at 4.
Yeah,
I have Galaxy there. I have Houston at 3. Excuse me.
Okay.
I have Galaxy at 4.
You said that. I was like, wait a second. But still,
I have Galaxy at
3.
4.
It's crazy. But you have You have the Galaxy at 4.
Houston at 3. Wow.
All right. Yeah. So I already had the guy. I'm putting St. Louis at 4. I'm putting St. Louis at 4.
I don't have them in the playoffs.
You don't have them in the playoffs at all. Okay.
Either.
All right. I
think like I said, the West is a fucking crapshoot, dude. The East, we were all off by like 1 team. The West, we're all over the place, dude. It has the most likely conference to have the biggest jumps of teams. I mean, it really is a 1-2 race for the top, and everyone else is a crapshoot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Well, yeah, I will make. Yeah, that's fair.
Where in the
that's
East,
fair.
you could make a case for Miami, Atlanta, Orlando, Cincinnati, or Columbus, all to win that damn thing.
Yes, I think that is right.
There's 2 teams that are going to be vying for the West.
Yeah,
but then you say that, but then there's 1 year when Colorado wins the West. Nobody saw it coming.
I don't think this is that MLS anymore, dude.
Same in St. Louis.
That bunker ball that they played that year, the really defensive style. I don't know that you can win an MLS with that anymore. At least not consistently. In the playoffs, sure. And they won a cup with that because defense works in the playoffs. But over a 37-game season, I don't know, man. We'll see. I still think it's a 2-horse race in the West. But yeah, I've got
no, I agree.
Galaxy at 4, Houston at 3.
Okay,
4. I've got Minnesota.
Okay, you had St. Louis. You got Minnesota at 4. I got Minnesota at 3. So again, this is just like
I have Minnesota not in mine.
You don't have Minnesota in the playoffs? That's nuts. Are you serious?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right.
Never impressed with that team.
Never. Okay. They were solid last year.
Doesn't mean I'm impressed by them.
No, I understand that. But they were solid last year.
My team dropped a freaking 6 on them in the playoffs.
That's true. I get that. That's true. They finished 6th last season. And I think they got better, and their manager certainly understands more about this league than he did last year.
Right. I do like their manager. I'll give you that.
He's young, and you like them young? Is that what it is? Sure. Minnesota's trash.
A little bit of an accent.
Yeah, man, I don't know. I think Yeboah is a real deal, and I like him a lot. I think Bongo's a real deal. Bongi is a real deal. Okay. There's some pieces here. Dotson, you might not love Will Trapp. And Robin Lode may not jump off the page to you, but those are quality.
Lode is sneaky. Lode's sneaky for sure. But I mean, he's already older, and he's getting more every year. I don't know.
That's
Pookie,
a fair statement.
Did Pookie still with him, or he take off?
No, he's gone.
No, he left.
Who's your keeper? Canadian guy.
St. Clair.
He's okay.
St. Clair.
He's not the worst keeper in the league.
He's like a West Coast Galese, man. Like, I don't like these string bean keepers, man. Like, give me someone with some heft.
West Coast. Is that where Minnesota is?
Well, the Western Conference.
Okay, Western Conference guy. Yes, it works.
Yeah.
All right. Look, there's flaws in all these teams in the West. Like flaws.
Yeah.
All right. we're on 3. Is that
Yeah, I
where
already
we're
gave
at?
mine. I had Houston.
I gave
What do you?
Minnesota was my 3. Who was your 3, Nick?
RSL.
Oh,
See?
okay.
I mean,
All
we're
right.
all over the place here, dude.
We
Like,
are. We
I
are.
get it.
The-
I get it.
and based on last year, but again, you got to replace. I mean, Chicho Arango scored goals in the first half and didn't score goals in the second half.
Yep.
Because he was absent, and they still had a solid season in terms of their playoff positioning. So I guess that's your argument.
Sure. I mean, none of us have Vancouver, right?
No,
Yeah.
I think
I think it was all. I give a lot of that to Vanny, and with him not there, I don't think they're going to be in there.
Him leaving, the things up in the air with the team being sold.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough.
All right, number 2. My number 2, I have LAFC at
Same
number
here.
2.
Yep.
Me too.
Yeah,
Me too.
I just think, not that I think Seattle's going to be the best team in the league, because we can't talk about number 2 without talking about number 1. I think we all have Seattle at number 1 then.
Yeah.
Yes, we all have
Okay.
Seattle at number 1.
I think LAFC has some potential to be better than Seattle, but I think it'll take till playoffs to kind of make that happen. A lot of new pieces. They've given up a lot. But Seattle has the most MLS ready team of any team in the West. The amount of experience, the veteran leadership, guys who have done it, it is the most unsexy, sexy team around.
Right. That's the thing. Like it's one of those teams where you're like, all right, where's their $20 million player? Oh, they don't really have one.
Like, who's that person everyone thinks is hot, but you're like, really?
I mean,
Emma
De La
Stone?
Vega hasn't proven anything yet. Emma Stone. That's not who it is for me. That's not who it is for me. I'll have to think about that. There definitely have been. My wife's been watching some movies, and I'm like, yeah, she's not for me. That's not mine kind of speed. Yeah.
Like Chalamet? I don't get it.
I get Chalamet.
Dude's a twink.
Yeah, but I get it. I get it. He's got a vibe about him. Plus, he wears Columbus Crew gear. I mean, this is gonna.
I did see that old school Columbus Crew.
Old school, 25-year-old Columbus Crew gear man's walking around in. It's older than he is.
What state is he from?
He's from New York. He's a New Yorker.
So who the hell dressed him in that?
No, I don't know. But
it's in England, right? When he wore it, or in Europe?
He's boys with Alex Mule. I don't know if you knew
really.
That. Yeah, he's boys with Alex Mule. Alex Mule doesn't play for Columbus though, so I don't know what that's about. He just grabbed the.
Yeah, I think the guy that dresses him or the girl that dresses him handed him that jacket before he went out there.
Maybe. All right. See, like you said, Seattle's thing is that Seattle is not. There's not anybody on that side that you're like, man, I can't wait to watch him play.
This team is the Schmetzer perfect team.
It's so Schmetzer. It is through and through Schmetzer. I think they're winning the Supporters Shield. That's what I got.
Really?
That's a strong argument. I mean, I would not be surprised if they won the Shield.
The question is Miami as dominant as you saw last year versus how many points do you pick up in the West because the West is such a crapshoot?
This is my thing. If Miami has a 10-point regression, which I think is very easy for them to do, and Seattle beats up on everybody who's not very good in the West, I think they win the Supporters Shield. I think it makes sense to pick a supporter unless Inter Miami does an Inter Miami thing like last year. The only realistic thing to do is to pick somebody out of the West to win the Supporters Shield. And since I think Seattle's going to be the best team in the West, I'm picking Seattle.
I will say this: Seattle last season, 51 total goals scored. The teams above them, Salt Lake, LA, LAFC, 65, 69, 63. They need Jesus Ferreira to actually produce in order to really truly eclipse and be the number one team.
Sure.
Their defense can be just as good as it was last season, but they got to knock in more goals than 51 to be competitive.
But that's the thing, though. They're returning almost all their goals from last year. Like Rui Diaz wasn't contributing at anywhere close to his previous level. So by losing Rui Diaz, they didn't lose a bunch of their goals from last season. And I think they're going to get at least 10. In fact, I put the over number 9.5 for Jesus Ferreira. I think they get 10 from Jesus Ferreira, and I think that makes them a Supporter Shield winner and number one.
As good as their defense was, Houston only let in 39, and LAFC only let in 43. So their defense was good, but it's not like these other teams were too far off them defensively.
No, but again, RSL scored 14 more goals than the Sounders did. If the Sounders find 12 goals, 15 goals,
they had Chicho. Come on, for half the season. That's why that's the way it is.
No, I mean sure, that's fair. That's fair. And we know the Galaxy aren't going to score nearly as many goals
No,
because they sold Jolich and they don't have Ricky Puig pulling the string. So I mean,
yeah, and a month
there's
without
going to be a
Pencil.
regression, and I think that LAFC, the way that they've sort of like decided to go fully in on Dolo ball, which is just the counter is the goal.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know.
But
It's
you
gonna
still
be-
have Giroud, who's not right for that system. That hasn't changed from last year. Giroud looked terrible in that system because he's not the right striker for them. They brought in Lloris's friend, a big name, sexy, looks good in the jersey, but he's not the right striker for that system.
Let's also do this thing where we throw out the caveat, which is that in the summer everything could change. In the summer,
But they had the right
everything
guy
could
in
change.
Chicho Arango. That was the right guy for their system. They let him go.
No, I'm just saying in general. After all of our picks,
Uh-huh.
where we've taken some risks, and everything could change.
For
If
sure.
if LAFC somehow manages to add Antoine Griezmann in the summer, everything could change.
But here's the
right?
interesting thing about Seattle. No one player goes out and they become a bad team.
That's right. That's right.
Maybe
So
Justin Reagan. Maybe Justin Reagan.
maybe Jackson Reagan. Yeah,
Jackson
you are
Reagan,
betting on consistency if you're betting on Seattle, and that's what I'm betting on, consistency. And I think they're going to be better to start the year than they've been in recent seasons, where the slow beginning of the campaign really undermined their finish at the end. All right,
They're the U2 of MLS. It's like, yeah, they always had hits, but I've never really put U2 on the radio. You never pop that CD in the 90s.
It's really
but,
good. It's really good.
But when it comes on, it's like, yeah, that's pretty good, but I would never choose it.
It's a strong analogy.
It's not bad. Who's your Supporter Shield winner, Jared?
I have Miami. I just took chalk on it. I
Okay,
think there's
and
a very good argument that Seattle could do it with the weakness of the West.
Nikki, does that mean you have Cincinnati winning the Supporter Shield?
I want to say Cincinnati. I don't think it'll happen. I think because the West is going to be wide open, a lot of bad teams in the West, plus an expansion team in the West. I'm going to go with.
I do think that the MLS Cup champion comes out of the West, though. I don't think.
All right. Well, who's your MLS Cup champion?
I'm taking Galaxy, and here's why.
What?
If you get Puig back going into the playoffs, you get him back in August. Tell me why they can't do it again. Every player on that team, almost every player that's going to be in that starting lineup, won last season.
I mean, nothing he could say would be insane, Nick. That's the thing. It doesn't matter. It's MLS.
Paintsel, Peck. Why wouldn't they be able to do it again?
Well, they got to be getting. Well, I mean, can they?
All they have to do is make the playoffs.
Can they survive till they come back?
Every one of us has them in the playoffs, so why wouldn't they?
We all have them in the playoffs.
I mean, I'm with you.
If they come in, my asterisk is Ricky Puig is back. If he's not back, I'm not making that pick. But if Ricky Puig comes back and you have Paintsel and Peck, I don't think there's any defense in this league that can stop that attack.
Okay.
All right.
So your MLS Cup. You're saying your MLS Cup champion is the Galaxy.
Yeah, and I did take them fourth out of the West for a reason. They at least get one home game, and they've been amazing at home.
Yeah,
it gets them through the first round likely, and then it's all bets are off.
All right, so it's chalk, and I know I have them first place in the East, but even if they don't finish first in the East and they make the playoffs, and I know what happened last year happened, I'm taking Miami. I'm taking Miami to win the Cup. I don't think they win Supporter Shield, but I think they win the Cup. And if they manage Messi's
I'm also
minutes,
taking Miami.
Okay, there you go.
I'm taking Miami because they're going to finish lower in the table. They're going to have some guys rested for a strong end of the year. Now
we'll see.
Why are they going to be rested?
Because they ain't going to be playing. They're going to get
They're
hurt.
Be playing champions. They're going to play Club World Cup. They're going to be CONCACAF Champions League.
The guys that they need, like Suarez, Messi, they're going to be injured at some point.
So you think their injuries are going to be convenient for playoffs?
Yes,
possibly.
Just
the other thing you could say is 28 games into the season, their bodies are going to break down and they won't be available for the playoffs.
That is possible. But that's not what happened last year when they lost to Atlanta. They didn't lose to Atlanta because they were broken down.
They couldn't beat their defense.
No, that's fair. Atlanta won fairly. I'm going to bet on Miami this season. I'm going to pick Miami this season.
Just like I thought. I've been on record saying this. I thought Miami was going to, after League's Cup last year, or 2 years ago when they won, when Messi first arrived, I said they're going to set the points record next year. I said that.
I do remember saying that, buddy.
I said, and you all doubted me. You were like, "Oh, they're too old. They're not going to be able to do it." Well, they just went out and did it. I think
in fairness, I don't know if Suarez was with the team when we said that.
You're probably right.
But yeah,
That's
not that
probably
would
true.
change my mind too much. But
What
yeah.
I'm saying here is the league wants this. They want it. They want it bad.
They wanted it last year.
They want Messi on that table holding up that trophy. It's going to happen. So I'm saying Miami. They're
Well,
gonna win.
unfortunately for them, a different Barcelona player is going to be up there holding that trophy. He's going to be a lot handsomer.
Wow, better hair, definitely better hair. Two quick individual picks, relatively quick.
Yeah,
Golden Boot and MVP, and obviously they could be the same person because there's a very good chance that the Golden Boot winner wins MVP. Jared,
I do have MVP as Lionel Messi.
all right. Do you have Golden Boot winner as Lionel Messi?
I have it as Suarez.
You have Suarez winning boot, and then Messi
I
close
think
enough
a lot
with
of
assists.
tap-ins for Mr. Suarez.
Okay, all right.
I did want to put Chicho there. A big part of me want to put Chicho there, but I just think
man.
San Jose's going to create the chances. I don't see a premier forward anywhere here. Maybe Atlanta, you get Lat with Atlanta, but that's a big swing too.
I don't think you can overlook Dinke too. I think Dinke is going to be a scorer. I don't know if
It's
he
just
gets
hard for me to pick
25.
that for a person I've never watched play in this league.
Absolutely. That is understandable. That is completely understandable.
But I still think the best striker in the league is Chicho Arango.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Goal scorer, just pure goal scorer.
Yeah,
It's still in his prime.
I hate to be boring. I'm taking Lionel Messi to win both things. And
Wow.
he would be the first ever back-to-back MVP winner. He would be the second ever double MVP winner. Quick, who's the only other?
Rosario.
Nope. One more guess. Nick?
Landon?
Nope.
Oh,
No.
he didn't-
Award's named after him, but he only has one.
Right.
Who is it?
Wando never got an
Preki.
MVP.
Preki. Preki
Is
has
it
two
Preki?
MVPs. Yep. Second one he won. when he
Oh, I
was
think you're
40
saying
years
person
old.
that won both MVP and Golden Boot.
No.
Oh, no.
My bad. I was
MVP.
going a different direction.
Double MVP. Two MVPs is all I'm saying.
I will say that Messi wins the Golden Boot.
Hey, be professional, huh?
Yeah, Mr.
Yeah, I know,
Audio
right?
Snob over there just smacking
Yeah,
the
I
mic.
know, right? Smacking the microphone around.
I'll say Messi wins Golden Boot.
Yeah.
And I will take a homer pick and I say Evander wins MVP.
Okay.
He's gonna have
Well,
a lot of goals and assists.
If Messi wins Golden Boot, that would be the upset of the century for Evander to win MVP. Because if Messi has if there's anything that they can say they can justify MVP for Messi, he's going to win it. It's a popularity.
Let's say right now,
contest.
if he wasn't hurt, I'd take Pooch for MVP next year.
Yeah, that'd be a reasonable pick, but he's hurt.
Yeah.
I've
If
seen
he
that
wins
man's
Golden
leg.
Boot, there's no chance.
seen them-
Messi
You see how
That
thin that
man's-
other one is?
The man's leg is like this. The man's
Yeah.
leg is a twig.
It's
got-
crazy.
He's got
You're,
nothing.
you're totally right, Jason. There's no chance
Yeah.
if Messi wins Golden Boot that he doesn't win MVP.
Right. So pick Evander to win Golden Boot. Probably won't happen. He won't score that enough goals.
No.
But pick him to win, and then Messi wins MVP anyway.
Right. Damn it.
Probably what's gonna. All right. If you liked our picks, tell us you liked them. If you
I thought
didn't
we do
like
Coach
them,
of the Year.
Yeah, Coach of the Year. I'm sorry. Yes, Coach of the Year. Go ahead.
I'm going Ronnie Delia.
Ronnie Dyla. Okay,
Solid.
that's not a bad pick. Okay.
Damn, that's a tough one. I'll say Smetzer.
I'm going Schmetz too.
But
I'm
he's
going
just
Schmetz.
doing chalk with what he's supposed to do.
If they win
Go
the
Schmetz.
if they win the Supporter Shield, I would give it. He'll.
I'm
If
going
Atlanta
Schmetz.
gets second place,
Although Lefty brings up a good point in the chat.
what's that?
If San Jose makes a postseason, I could see Bruce getting some votes.
No, but you're gonna have
I
to do
think
more than
Bruce's
just make
bar
the
is
postseason.
higher. Bruce's bar is higher, I think.
But we're past the
But
point. where
I'll
can
give
be
you a
like-
quick picker poison before we get out of here. I know we got to get out. Quick picker poison.
All right. Let me do that.
Coach of the Year: Schmetzer wins Sporter Shield, or Ronnie Dela gets second in the East, taking Atlanta from where they were to second in the East. Do you still feel which one's Coach of the Year?
Schmetz wins Coach of the Year.
Good Lord, he's supposed to.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It's about what coach took them the farthest.
But no, you're using logic in the voting. That's not how the voting works. I'm
Did
thinking
it-
about the way the voting works.
Remind me, and again,
You have to win something, or you have to be like you have to have achieved something in order to win Coach of the Year.
Noonan
you can't
didn't
just
win
be
Coach
like-
Year when the FCC won the
No.
Shield, right?
No,
I don't believe so. No, I don't believe so.
And it went
So,
to
like,
Who's the
Carnell,
last
right?
Coaches of the Year.
It went to Carnell, didn't it?
Last year was Nancy. Nancy won Coach of the Year last year.
Yeah, what did they win last year?
They went to like 3 finals before we got to the playoff, like when the voting was happening. So Okay.
Jim Curtin didn't win anything in 2022, right? He came up short. I don't think they're even first in the East that year, were they?
Yeah. No.
They didn't win
Yeah?
the Shield. Did they win the Shield that
They
year?
didn't win the Shield. No.
Yeah.
They didn't win the Shield.
Bruce Arena, New England Revolution 2021. That is exactly what I'm talking about with Ronnie Dela.
Yeah, but they set a points record that year.
Yep.
That proves
I
my
don't know,
point.
man.
I will say
Because
Ronnie's a
if
good
Smets-
shot.
if no, it's not a bad pick. I'm not saying it's a bad pick. I'm just justifying my pick of Schmetzer, which you seem to be trying to undermine.
I will
for
say
reasons
that
I
the
don't-
record on this tends to be top performing centric, not who took the team the farthest, which I really feel is the better judge of
Which
coaches.
is unfortunate because the FC Cincinnati won the Supporter Shield and Newton didn't win the damn award.
By the way, the only reason Philadelphia didn't win the Supporters Shield the year that Jim Curtin won Coach of the Year is because they got beat out by LAFC having 2 more wins. They had the same number of points. They didn't win. They had the same number of points as LAFC, but didn't win.
That means they had 6 more draws and 2 less losses.
They had 6 more draws and actually 4 fewer losses.
Mm.
Yeah. So I mean, again, there are some things that can move around. Like, look, if Inter Miami finishes first and I don't know wins the Shield, Mascherano probably gets it. He probably gets it. Although last year Tata didn't get it.
Can you imagine being a rookie coach first time ever and you get a Coach of the Year?
He's not going to do it though. I do think
Yeah, what
they
the
have
hell,
a
man?
reverse.
They set a points record and Tata doesn't get it. But then again, like Jared's argument, he was supposed to do that.
Because he had Messi, maybe that did work against him, as opposed to somebody. And look, Schmetzer's supposed to, right? I guess,
Has
but
he won
it's
it
not like
before?
No, he's never won it. Do you think? I mean, Lionel Messi. If Lionel Messi was playing for
All right,
Seattle,
I can
then
see him getting the heart vote. Everyone loves him some Schmetzer. He's MLS's
They win
dad.
the field. It's gonna be hard to argue, but
He's like the coach voted most likely to have a pocket protector.
Yeah, but it works for him. It
they're
works for him.
consistent.
Yeah. All right, gentlemen. Thank you very much for doing this. I mean, this is not
Nicky, thanks for
Yeah.
coming in, buddy.
so different than our usual flavor, but I very much enjoyed it and was always good. Yeah, Nicholas Soup and Sausage.
I
Sausage
think I'm
flavor.
starting to like Cincinnati.
There he is, right there. This is also his.
Can I get a manager? Can I please get a manager?
I mean, that's one that Nick inspired. He wanted that one when the U.S. didn't have a manager before we hired Pochettino, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then, of
It's
course,
Karen.
there's the original
The Sausage King of Chicago.
because he is Nicholas Soup and Sausage.
Did
Or
we
Soup
come
and
up
Salad.
with that manager drop when Berhalter was our coach? Because I felt we desperately needed.
I think it was that time when Berhalter hadn't been hired back yet.
Yeah, I think it was in that interim period after the investigation. When the investigation was
We
ongoing.
had BJ Callahan.
B.J. Callahan. Yeah. All right. That's
my favorite thing about managers and history of the U.S. men's national team is our the Americans cover photo. The
Oh,
That was
yeah.
a good one.
Serenas.
The
Oh.
Americans.
Pretty good. The Americans. Do you think that hits hard enough with the populace? Because I feel like they missed it. We just didn't do a good enough job of
It was a good one,
disseminating
though. It was a good
the
one.
Americans.
That was Nick's
But
final.
thank you for having me back,
That was
guys.
my idea, and then you and your wife's work, right?
No, I did that all.
You did the Americans? I thought I came up with Americans.
I did the artwork though.
Yeah, you did the. Oh, you mean your wife didn't do it? You did that one.
Yeah, I've done out of all those movie covers and all the cover art. I did that. Sarah did not help me.
Okay.
Mm. Shout out to the U.S. Women's National Team who beat Colombia tonight in the She Believes Cup 2-0. So
Right
that's a thing. How's
Double
the
hands.
hockey going? Anybody want to give us a hockey update?
I saw we were losing 1-0.
Oh, we are.
That was
All
wild.
right, well, that
Figures the guy in
That
Ohio
sucks.
is paying attention to
maybe
I
we'll
was
be
unsure.
how many provinces in Canada? I don't even know. Maybe we'll become like the next province.
How
of
many can you
Canada.
name? I bet you I can name them all.
Let's
isn't
see.
don't know.
Alberta.
Okay. We'll go back and
Sas-
forth. We'll go back.
Okay, sure. Let's go back and forth.
I'll
Let's do
take
it.
your
that way.
Rastafari
Saskatoon.
with
Just
Canadian
say it.
provinces.
What do you say?
Rastafari with Canadian provinces.
Rastafari with Canadian provinces. There's only so
Oh,
many.
map? No.
No. Okay. So wait, I said Alberta.
Yeah, I do need to roll. I forgot.
Oh, you
I was
gotta
thinking my
go?
kids- I thought my kids' soccer practice was done at 7:30. Yeah, it's at 8. It's at 7:30. So I
All
gotta
right.
go.
That's it. All right. Bye bye.
You and Nick can play
No, we're gonna go. We're gonna go.
All
It's not fun without you, brother. Bye bye,
right.
everybody.
Thanks,
Bye
everybody.
Damn, dog, that's in a post.
Oh, it's incredible!
was there for. Oh, here we go, saucing them up. Hit them, what?
We are at DEFCON 1.
DEFCON 1?
What are we doing?
Get to the chopper!
I said, big balls. And get fucking stuck in it, Luke.
Who asked those questions?
Can I get a manager? Can I please get a manager?
The Sausage King of Chicago.
Michael freaking Orozco Fiscal.
Duh and or hello.
Jay Rodius.